Okay, let's talk to Vanessa Puna now. Vanessa, a very good morning to you. I can see the beautiful artworks behind you there. Just tell us what's happening where you are.
Yes, indeed. A very warm good morning to you on a rather cold day here in Wellington, outside Cape Town. Let me step out of shot for a moment. You've just mentioned the beautiful artwork, and I'm going to ask my colleague, Clinton Cerf, just to do a pan around the room for you to see exactly what is being exhibited here today. Now, we're standing in the Kruger Community Gallery, of course, named after a world photographer, Kruger Breytenbach, of course, here at the Breytenbach Centre in Wellington. And some of the artworks that you've seen behind me are those that are being exhibited and those that have been done by a variety of former inmates. Some of them also currently still serving time in prison in the Drakenstein Correctional Facility. And this whole project has been facilitated by a renowned artist herself, Marike Kruger. She's been running workshops for the past, 5 years or so. And of course, this exhibition opened online just at the start of the lockdown a few months ago. Now, joining me to speak about this project itself is Marike Kruger. Marike, a very warm good morning to you. First and foremostly, tell us a bit about what inspired you to start this project, why, and how you think it has an impact on those that are still currently being incarcerated and those who have been released from prison, how it helps them in terms of reshaping their lives.
I started the project in 2015, and I think it stems also out of my own art practice, where I've always been drawn to those that are in pain, destitute people. So one could probably say that it's stemming from my own psychological interest, really, in the notion of incarceration and imprisonment, which I think is not a concept that's confined only to prison itself, but is the whole, with lockdown and everything that we've been through, the whole notion of imprisonment becomes a universal idea, and I think that was something that I've always kind of explored in my work as a kind of a therapeutic thing in my own artistic journey. But I think it's also now found its reflection in working with these prisoners, which I think has got a two-sided effect. It's got a therapeutic effect on my own sense of being and becoming, as well as theirs. We started, basically, I'm also an art educator at the Jack Meyer Art Centre, and I needed to be given more morning hours for my teaching practice, and so they were discussing amongst themselves where they would send me, and the idea came up, the School of the Blind, and then prison as well. And when they said prison, I was like, yes, I've always wanted to go to prison. And so I was sent to Drakenstein Correctional Services, where we started the classes with one of my right-hand people there, Mr. Breytenbach. And we started with about 15 guys, and I think the whole thing started where I think with imprisonment and being coming from a negative background, a criminal background, I think where art comes in as a liberating tool is where it offers the inmates a way of expressing negative energy in a more positive way.
If I can ask you very briefly, Marike, so the kind of artwork, what kind of methods do you teach, and how? Firstly, how many people have been part of your lessons thus far, and then you can talk to us a bit about what genres of art, if one will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, we focus on printmaking on the model of previous art centres like Rokersdrift and Poly Street art centres that we knew in apartheid years. We have to work with acid-free processes. So we started off with dry point etchings. And so that they just took to it like a bee to honey, I would say. And then from there we progressed. We introduced other printmaking methods, and so they've had several exhibitions already. And then the guys that seem to progress the best are those that are consistent in the program. So we've had about 15 guys to start off. Our groups are never bigger than 15 guys inside the prison because of management, challenges and things. And then we've had some guys now like Nelan, Naidoo and Joseph Buys and Edlin, Isaac, some of the guys that are still inside that have stuck with the program. And so when the one starts acquiring skills, they also become assistant teachers. So they become assistants to me, so we can actually continue the program when I'm not there or when I'm not able to be there. So yes, so that's where we started.
And also, I understand that quite a lot of this artwork, or many of these artworks have been sold. This means income for the artists themselves.
Yes. Inside of prison, they are not allowed to actually sell their work, but we offer them exposure to the contemporary art world. We offer them exposure to curators where they can build up contacts so that platforms can be created for them when they do come out of prison to be able to continue their art practice. And so we've started basically with the project divided into two facets, which is the insiders and the outsiders, as we call them. The insiders being the guys that are still inside, which gets offered opportunities to exhibit and express themselves. So it's a therapeutic aspect also to them. And then when they're outside of prison, then we can start actually selling. And so they, get a big cut of the sales, obviously, and the gallery. And then we take a little bit of the money also for the art workshops, for the art material costs, rental costs, those kinds of things. Yeah.
Marike, thank you so much for chatting to me, and I'll speak to you a little bit more just now. Of course, Marike Kruger has been running this workshop for the last 5 years or so. I just want to speak to one of her students who is also now an artist, Nelan Naidoo. Nelan, good morning to you. Tell us a bit about yourself. How did you become involved in taking these art classes and art lessons from Marike?
I got involved with the art class in 2015 while I was in prison.
What drew you to the art classes themselves? Do you have a natural affinity for art and drawing, etc.?
I used to draw a little on and off until I met my friend Joseph Buys. He taught me, and Marike developed me in art, and that's where it all started from.
So tell us a bit about what you find, what art does for you as a person, someone who has been in prison, someone who has gone through incarceration, what kind of feelings you would have gone through, and also how art helps you express yourself as a person after that experience.
Ma'am, it helped me a lot in prison. It calmed me down. It kept me busy for a long time. Emotionally, I lost a lot while I was in prison. So it kept me, occupied. Helped me, mentally to blend in, and yes.
Your ambitions for the future then as an artist, Nelan?
To produce more art and sell a lot of art, yes, and become just more good at what I am.
Thank you so much for speaking to me, Nelan Naidoo, of course, one of the artists who's working under the tutelage of a renowned artist here in Wellington, Marike Kruger. And of course, the visuals behind me, the images behind me are part of an exhibition happening at the Breytenbach Centre at the moment, like I said earlier on, in the Klute community gallery, and this of course is where quite a number of these artworks are on display at the moment as part of this exhibition, and all that I can say at this point is well done to the artists themselves, and also just to develop their skills in terms of somebody who's been incarcerated for whatever a length of time, to be able to express their worldview through the drawings that we see here behind us.
Thank you so much, Vanessa Puna, there talking to us about the beautiful art project in the Western Cape.